For the first time in over a decade, a championship trophy is back in Austin. There was a Gatorade bath and a lot of booing. The very next day, elation and severe disappointment.
Heartbroken, devastated, and I'm sure there is a lot of anger.
If you're going to tell me somebody sitting in that committee room and doesn't think that Georgia team's not one of the best four teams, I don't know if they're in the right profession.
So buckle your chin straps. Let's ride. How about that, Stevie Lee? The UT, your Longhorns, a lot of people's Longhorns' first ever college football playoff appearance. It took about 10 years, but I got to know, even though you've had a day to allow it to marinate, yesterday, your feelings, I know we were on Instagram Live, but that smile right there on your face, it's even bigger now than it was yesterday.
Yeah, man, it feels good to be a Longhorn right now, man. The way I felt yesterday for the kids, it's a long time coming. They've worked really, really hard. Coach Shark came and turned things around in this program, and kind of picked up the baton. Coach Torrey Beckton, the strength and conditioning coach, got the kids right. With their at the end of the game, they still look healthy and not tired and things like that. So I'm really liking what I'm seeing on the field, man. It's fun to watch. The offense has been fun. Defense is picking things up and fun as well. So it's just fun all around. And I was really happy when the Horns logo came up. I think my neighbors heard me screaming, man. So it was really cool to watch.
No, it was, and I think it was the same for a lot of people. I think there was an element of probably this much confidence. And the reason why I say that, because everyone you spoke to, or at least I did, and I know probably for you and so many other people, everybody was saying it was at kind of pause with their confidence, because I know at the game, I know on the way back from Arlington, I know even that night, people with the text messaging, there was this cautiously optimistic feeling. But trying to justify being in, you know, you knew that Texas was right there, but we're about to go ahead.
I was optimistic about everything, and then all the pundits in sports talk radio or sports talk TV and all that stuff started saying Texas should be in. Texas is in. Texas should be in. Texas is in. And the AP poll came out, and I was like, whoa, 3 in the AP.
3.
Yeah. And then other people were saying Texas should be in, and then it went from Texas should be in to Texas is in. Texas is in. I was like, okay, so they believe. So they, in the college football playoffs room, they should be believing too. Yeah. So, and then it came out 3rd seed, man. That's huge, big time, man. Huge.
Yeah. And it's almost, well, we're going to dive into it, but be sure to subscribe to our YouTube page and like all of our social media platforms, that being TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and also Twitter/X. And that's, we got a lot of content daily because the people want it. So Texas won their 4th Big 12 championship, and we're talking about the CFP. We'll get to that Big 12 championship. And so to Stevie's point, the college football playoff drama and it was full FSU and Georgia left out. You had basically 7 teams which, were deserving or could justify why they should be in. But there's only 4 spots. And in the end, you've got these 4. Texas made the leap all the way up. Essentially, this weekend, if you lost late in the season, you're done. If you lost these last 2 or 3 weeks, real quick, it's a rematch from last year's Alamo Bowl in the Sugar Bowl. Then we got the Rose Bowl matchup. Michigan not too happy about having to face Alabama, even though Alabama, a lot of people say, should not be in.
No, heavy is the head. Well, what is it? Well, heavy is the head that wears the crown, and they knocked the crown off that head. So, Georgia, this was for Georgia in the Alabama game in that championship. That was the first playoff game, and they should know. And going in that game, the loser is out of the playoffs. And so I thought that was fine. I thought that was perfectly fine. And we have the head-to-head over Alabama. And so the committee stuck true to their word and put us in front of Alabama because we have the head-to-head, right? And then they do also state in their selection process that they take in considerations injuries and coaching availability, and that's why we had to leapfrog FSU. Their quarterback broke his leg, and they struggled against Louisville. And so, I mean, it really, really sucks for Florida State, and I feel for those kids. They did everything that they're supposed to do. You tell kids to win, just win and win and win, and you'll get to the championship playoffs or even win a championship, and they're not. So that really, really sucks. But it states in the bylaws,
their criteria, I think.
The criteria for the college football playoffs that what happened to you guys, we take into consideration, and they did. So that's the world we live in right now. But we're going to go to a 12-team playoff. It should have happened this year.
Yeah,
it should have happened this year. We wouldn't be having this conversation, but that it just kind of is what it is.
Yeah, and I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this is kind of karma. Unfortunately, listen, FSU is a good team. But there's just a year. This is a year where there's so many teams that really perform so well, either undefeated or one loss. But correct me if I'm wrong. I think the ACC commissioner voted against the 12-team playoff for this year.
I'm not sure. I've heard that. There's been some rumblings about that, but I'm not entirely sure about it. But that's that could bite you in the ass for sure. So
that's karma.
Yeah, that is karma. Yeah.
So Coach Sarkisian, Jalen Ford, yesterday, had the opportunity to talk about it. Of course, Sark, having had some SEC experience at Alabama, was, worried about trying to squeeze out the SEC because the SEC was almost left out of this thing. This was Coach Sark and one of the best linebackers in the country immediately after being notified that they were in the CFP.
I was worried about us not getting in. That's just human nature. You just don't know. I mean, we really did not know. And so that's one of the challenges of the committee and the playoff selection. But, it all worked out for us. But I wasn't so concerned about if the SEC was getting squeezed out or not. I was more concerned about us.
To see that us and Washington are in the college playoffs after being in the Alamo Bowl last year. Is kind of it's kind of ironic, but they got a good team, and I think for us, we're just ready to finally get a chance to go show what Texas football is.
So to Jalen's point, they were in that Alamo Bowl, but they were not 100% because a lot of players, and I agree, you shouldn't play in these games if you're going to be a top 2 or 3 NFL draft 2 or 3 round pick. You sit out, protect your assets. So a lot of the Longhorns last year, including Bijan, Roshan, and some others, didn't play, and I get it. And it helped, and it hurt them. And I'm not saying that Texas would have won, but I think the game would have been different.
No question. I'll say it. Texas would have won.
Okay. I was there. I don't know, but I think they played pretty well considering. But again, there was a good chance they could have won that game last year in San Antonio.
We had the best running back in the country that did not play, and then the second best running back in the country did not play. We would have won that game, man.
Yeah, I'm not going to disagree. Yeah. And so a lot of the players, you think about where this team has come from. A lot of these guys were 5-7 2 years ago, and you see a lot of these feel-good stories with the CFP, the rise, the quick rise. Well, how do you summarize briefly a lot of these older players, what they've been through, and to not only stay with the program, but to just stay the course to build this program back up under Sarkisian?
Yeah, man, it's been a lot. And if you want to go back to when us losing to Iowa State at Iowa State, was that Iowa State at Iowa State, and Coach yelling at them on the bus.
Bo Davis
yelling at them on the bus like that. We've come a long ways from that. You know, that's a bunch of ups and downs, a bunch of long days in the summer with Torrey Becton in the sand pit, just working, and now you get the rewards to the reward and opportunity to play in the college football playoffs. This is an opportunity. Now they got to go and snatch it and seize this opportunity, right? We got Washington, whom we played last year. We got fire in our belly, so because they beat us last year. So go out and snatch that, man, and then get ready for either Michigan or Alabama.
Well, a lot of teams show it can be done. TCU last year out of nowhere plays for a national championship. Mm-hmm. And, I think the CFP, to add to the prior topic, is they're trying to avoid a championship game like that. And that's not to take anything away from TCU. They did beat Michigan fair and square in that semifinal to get to where they are. So Quinn Ewers, the quarterback, he uses words that sound like, man, to be a part of this, it's just like he is just, wow, all shucks almost. And it's not talking about him, but he's just thinking about his older teammates, what they went through, to which you just spoke about. And this Quinn this is a sign of a good leader right here.
Mm-hmm. Some of these guys that were on that 5-7 team to where we are now, I mean, there's no better feeling for those guys. And I'm just glad to be a part of a team that is able to enjoy it that much, because they know what it's like to be disregarded at 5-7.
Yeah, turn the whole program around for them. If you're 5-7 and now you're sitting here at 11-1, entering in the college football playoffs, it's a whole different experience from ending the season basically 2 weeks ago, and not practicing again until spring ball until 2 years later. You are ending the season with a Big 12 championship, getting ready to play 2 more games, hopefully 2 more games, and getting more practice under your belt, getting more film in, and possibly, being such a good team now, getting really good looks from scouts,
Yeah.
NFL scouts.
Well, it's a lot. There's a lot of benefit to this,
Mm-hmm.
when you play in the postseason. I mean, but the bigger picture. I mean, let's be honest with each other, and we've talked about this for several years now, and only 3, because this podcast has only been around for 3 years. This program has not been good it's on a consistent basis since 2009. Right. It has been a roller coaster. I mean, really, Texas has not been Texas. Tom Herman did add some stability. Let's give Tom some credit. There was some stability, but they weren't consistently good yet. And to
Right.
reach where they are 12-1 now, that's taking a big leap. And
Huge.
it's just significant, man. And this program's capable. It's just been a sleeping giant. It's just not been Texas. And I really feel like, and it's not a shot at any coach before, I honestly feel like not enough credit has been given to Tom Herman. He was that next step. And I think Sark and his staff have been able to get the attention, elevate. And you love to hear this when I'm about to play from Byron Murphy. Jahdae Barron is the first soundbite you'll hear. But what Byron says is so anti this current generation because everyone wants a quick fix. Everyone wants to be praised. Everyone wants to me type attitude. And this is a true program changer, a true team type guy. Listen to this, Stevie.
It means the world. We had a lot of hard times that 5 to 7 year, but we stuck with each other and one another, and we trusted Sark.
We put in a lot of work, on and off the field, so just every day just grinding and just waiting your turn and just just staying with it, trying to believe in what he's saying, believe in our culture, believe in this team, our teammates, and it paid off.
Yep. And you can kind of see the emotion in that kid's eyes, man. And in his voice. It's very emotional. Turning around from 5-7, turning around a whole program like that, it takes work, takes hard work. And for me, man, I feel like we got our coach, and that makes me really, really happy and proud. I mean, he has a good staff with him. It's not just Coach Sharp, man. He has a really good staff.
Yeah,
the best staff money could buy, right?
Yeah. Well, they've had the money.
Yeah.
They just have not really gotten the best staff until now.
Well, I guess we had the money, but this is even more money now. Like we have about 4 people on the staff that's making over $1 million, right?
I need to go back and look before I say that, and this is a current, listen, this is, I hate saying this, but people don't want to hear this. But when you have other programs coming in, interviewing your assistants, that's a compliment.
It's a huge compliment.
You got Jeff Choate, who is the co-DC and linebacker coach. He's expected to be named the University of Nevada's head coach.
I did not know that. Come on, man. Dang it.
And
we need to keep our guys, man.
Everyone say, oh, it's just an assistant. No, that's a big piece.
That's a huge piece, man. Do you think that Bo Davis is just an assistant? No, he's not. He's way more than that, man.
He's a culture builder.
Exactly, and built that culture across the D line. I mean, Sweat and Murphy are playing their butts off, man, and it's fun to watch. Being a big boy myself, Sweat getting that touchdown in the end zone, that was hilarious. I loved it. He just walked in and stood right there and got the ball, man. So. It's fun to watch, man. Fun.
No, it is. And it's listen, this is going to happen year after year. They're going to come after where they're part of a program of continued success.
Also, the University of Texas and CDC, Chris Del Conte, they got to back up the Brinks truck.
Yeah.
I mean, I know Shark, I think he's at 5.5 or 5.6 million a year.
He'll get a raise.
going into the SEC, man, that's the bottom tier of the SEC, and now he's in the college football playoffs, competing really, really well, and built this school and built this culture or program up. He's probably, and I'm saying this to everyone, I'm telling everybody, don't get offended or anything like that, but he's probably a $8 to $10 million guy, and that's just what the market is. And I hate it that we have to pay all this stuff, this money out, but that's what the market is. He's an $8 to $10 million coach now.
It is, but it also increases the allotment for your assistants.
Yep.
To an extent. If we want to be realistic about it.
Yeah.
So moving on. I mean, the top story was going on to the college football playoff for the first time in program history. I mean, the CFP's only been around for about a decade, but didn't know what to expect in Jerry World. I thought that it was a great day. I thought it was a fun atmosphere. I thought there's a lot to unbundle here, and we'll get to it, and we're going to go through it pretty quick because it's pretty funny. And there's a lot to that game day atmosphere. 49-21, complete domination. The play calling was on point. They jumped on Oklahoma State quick. I did think, to OSU's credit, I did think they did the best they could considering Mike Gundy, Texas made them one-dimensional in a hurry.
Yeah. Excuse me. Again, didn't we hold him to 34?
Well, we'll get to that. We'll get to that.
Oh, okay. Yeah. But you're right. Making him one-dimensional. Gundy, and Gundy is Gundy, man.
Good coach.
He's a good coach, and he can get his players up and things like that. He's just not my type of guy. He's not my cup of tea. And we talked about it a little bit last year. He did. You do right. He did the best he could do with the staff and talent that he had. I was surprised they got 21 points, to be honest. But they were just overmatched, and with these guys being fired up the way they were, they had no chance in my book.
Well, there was you just knew, and Sark didn't really say it, but you knew that they all, and probably the player leadership probably did this, what I'm about to say, and I'd love to hear what you had to say. I'm pretty sure the players said, we have to make a statement because we can control what we can control, and it worked out for them.
Yeah, it did. Yeah. That statement also, I believe, and we talked about this the very first podcast of the year, when we talked about the commissioner and what he did at Texas Tech. They knew they had that in the back of their mind, and I said it would be poetic justice for him to pass the trophy over to Shark on that stage.
Sure as hell did.
And he did, and we'll get into all that.
Yeah, we'll get into that. So I got to show you this. Now, I'm not taking anything away from a good top-level player. Ollie Gordon II. You know, he's from the Dallas-Fort Worth area. He did get an offer from Texas late when he was recruited. This he's a guy that rushed for 400 yards against Allen High School. I believe it was his senior year. But it's irrelevant to this. He's a good player. But this was him before the game. And if you just listen closely to what he was saying, he's just trying to get his teammate ready. But this was him before the game, just dropping F-bombs.
Find out on three. 1, 2, 3. Fuck around, find out.
F Texas, and you're going to love this. This is to what Stevie was referring. So after the game, we all know that UT has a great rush defense. So our guy Jalen Ford tweeted this out after the game.
He had 34 yards. Yeah, man. Come on, man. The disrespect is going to have to stop, dude. At some point, it's going to have to stop. So, I can get into all those things. We were down and people were kicking us when we were down, and then you think we're still down and you still kicking us. F around and find out.
I had to throw out that from a week or two ago. That was funny. And Ollie did find out. He was so pissed off. I mean, Texas got to him early, just pinging on him.
Yeah, and I know you were at the game. I was on my couch with a beverage.
Well, you're the smarter one. We were over here paying $15 a drink.
Yeah, and so the TV program showed him very, very frustrated on the sideline, banged his helmet on the ground. came off the field, threw his helmet on the ground, screaming on the sideline. He was very, very frustrated, and he effed around and found out.
He sure did. I don't blame him though, but you got to with the camera. You got to keep your composure.
Yeah, he did not keep his composure. If Texas offered him late, and it's just the recruiting that it happens sometimes.
Yeah.
Get out your feelings and actually make a sound decision for yourself. And he's probably thinking you know what, I probably should have went to Texas.
Yeah.
But because we got a great offensive line that he could have been running behind, But we have a full running back room, and I love the running back room that we have.
I do too.
Yeah.
I do too. And again, not everyone can get an offer because there are limits. I mean, there's a lot of people who want to go to OU. There's people who want to go to Oklahoma State.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people who do want to go to Texas or A&M, and there's some. It's just the way it is, and that's why the scholarship limitation is 85. It's just the way it is. So one of the big moments of the game was a big boy touchdown, Devondre Sweat. I'm going to go ahead and say that has got to be America's favorite big guy in college football in the country. He had his Heisman moment, and this was funny about the play call that, they had the big formation. They had both Murphy and Devondre in down there on the goal line. And I love this because they didn't squander down there on the goal line. But this was fun. And it kind of – maybe I'm reading too much into it. They love Sark, and there's like this bond. You tell me if I'm reading too much into this.
We did it Thursday, and Coach told me that was going to be our first play we call when we get in goal line. And he was in line. He did it, and, man, it was amazing, though.
Yeah, so he bobbles it yesterday in practice. I said, man, do not mess with me now. You better catch this. And then I said, and don't get a penalty. Get your behind to the sideline and celebrate to the sideline. So very, very cool moment.
Yeah. Hey, man. Yeah, they I think that bond is genuine. I think these players really, really love their head coach. He's hard on them. When I'm in practice, he's hard on them. He really is. So if you're going to be a good coach and be hard on them in practice, you got to love on them after practice too. You got to be just as loving on them afterwards. That's how you build a relationship. Hey, I know I was tough on you. I know it was hard on you because I know you can do it, and I need you to do it. But it's not an apology or anything like that. But you just kind of love on your players the same way that you get on them in practice. And I feel that they really, really like Coach Sharp.
And it's just there's a good. I know when you're winning, there's a lot of good feelings toward everybody.
Yeah,
but you just. Devondre, they're going to miss him, and Murphy too, because Murphy looks like a regulator, but he has that hard nosed mentality, but which is a compliment. Devondre, oh my God, man! Every time when I saw that post game podium interviews, Devondre I don't know why, man. I just start laughing when he starts speaking.
Yeah, no. I haven't talked to him much, but he seems like a funny guy, man. But it's just fun to watch him play. It ain't funny when he's busting through that line, though, man. He's a man on a mission.
Team's game plan around him.
Yeah.
Perhaps the best moment, an emotional moment. Jonathan Brooks, the running back who tore a ligament in his knee, out for the season. 2 weeks ago? They dressed him out, and it was a part of the plan, and he was out on the final play in victory formation. And to have him out there, Stevie, wow.
That's awesome.
I didn't know it until my buddies, says, I think Jay Brooks was out there, and I didn't miss because I'm nearsighted, and we were on the second upper deck. It's not like I
did not catch that. This is my first time catching this, and you're right. he's out there. But when I think about it, he was in street clothes in the first half.
Was he really?
Yeah, he was in street clothes. He had his chains on and everything, pumping everybody up on the sideline. So that was strategic. Coach told him to go and put a uniform on. We're going to beat these guys' ass, and I'm going to put you in for the victory formation. That's really, really cool, man. That's cool.
It really is. And obviously he's all braced up on the knee.
Yeah, that's cool. And I hope he comes back. Well, he has to come back, right?
He doesn't have to, but we'll see. You know how it is. If he gets a third round or higher evaluation, he'll probably go. But it's going to be 50-50, in my opinion, to get that type of evaluation. But I don't know. I mean, listen, I am wrong 70% of the time. I am not going to lie.
But 30%, so you're good.
Yeah, I'm right. 30%. That's good in baseball, right?
Yeah, it's good in baseball. Batting 300, you're making $200 million.
Well, you damn right. I'm clearly doing well right now. So you mentioned it, and this is my video that I shot. This is from my Instagram story. The Big 12 commissioner receiving a warm welcome in the trophy presentation after the game.
Dude, it was even worse on TV, man.
Was it really?
It was. And you can, because the camera was right in his face. You can see everything just I deserve it. Then he tried to say, I take it as love. I take it all as love.
I did kind of hear that.
Yeah. It was worse on TV, man. Me and my wife was cracking up laughing, man. It's just kind of like, it's poetic justice, man. You can't be a good commissioner and take sides with a team like, with any teams. And I know that we're leaving, and you probably fault us for tearing up the Big 12 10 years ago when we got the Longhorn Network deal.
Well, he wasn't even around then.
Yeah, but he was. Yeah, you're right. But that was essentially the beginning.
Yeah. Oh, we can definitely. If people don't admit that the Longhorn Network played a role in this, then they're fooling themselves.
Exactly. It was the beginning. So you may want to fault us for that. You may want to fault us for leaving and OU leaving and all that stuff, but you still have to be a commissioner over the entire Big 12. We were a part of the Big 12. You took sides with a team, publicly said it, right? And so we had to keep the receipts, and it was our bulletin board material. And when you had to eat crow and hand that trophy over to us, you're going to hear about it. Yeah. You were against us, so we're not going to cheer you. We're not going to be happy that you are handing the trophy over to us. But so he heard about it,
He did. And listen, when you look at the big picture, the guy's smart. I mean, he got WWE involved, got that partnership. And when he did that, he was at a Texas Tech Red Redder luncheon. He was playing to his audience.
But you just can't do that as a commissioner.
You're the guy in that position.
Yeah. And you got to be smarter than that.
It's
go ahead.
He knew what he was doing, though.
Yeah.
He knew exactly what he was doing.
Now, you are exactly right. That WWE or WWF, was it WWE?
It's WWE, yeah.
WWE partnership. I saw the logo on the field. I saw the superstars on the sideline. I was like, no, that's really cool. And then
the Undertaker,
the MVP belt.
Beautiful.
Oh, that kid, he can raise that up and put it on his wall, put it in that's better than a trophy having a WWE MVP of the Big 12 championship game belt. Yours can cherish that for the rest of his life. And he put it over his shoulder, and when the Undertaker handed it to him, and he put it over his shoulder. It was perfect, man. I loved it. I was like, that's a really cool belt,
dude. The Undertaker and his wife, they're big time Longhorn supporters and fans, and they are good people. and their presence on the sidelines a lot. Back in my days, when I was on the sidelines almost for all the time, good people, fun to talk to. Every time I saw him and his wife, I left laughing.
Yeah.
But very, very passionate.
He's at a lot of the practices also, so I've talked to him a couple of times.
Smart guy.
Yeah, he is. He's smart, fun, and he's not one of those guys that you're intimidated to go up and talk to, man. He's open to conversation and things like that. So good dude.
Yeah. Hey, I want to show this before we take a break. It's funny how history reveals itself. It's funny how history is. And maybe this is just a coincidence, or I don't know, man. There's a trend here, but you'd think a program like Texas would win more conference championships because it really hasn't done well in the Big 12. Texas is really, for the most part, Texas has underperformed in the Big 12. It's just it is what it is. But look at this trend here. The final Southwest Conference championship won by Texas. I was there at Kyle Field at A&M. Texas went in there, ended their long home win streak. That was a beautiful day.
Yeah.
Beautiful day. Our boy Jason Reeves had an interception. Ricky Williams was a freshman. It was a great day. And then, God, I just remember that. That was so fun leaving Kyle Field quiet.
Yeah.
And holding them to 6 points. Very next year, Texas won the first Big 12 championship.
Grand opening. And then Texas exits 2 days ago and wins the final Big 12 title for UT. Grand closing.
And what happens? Does that mean Texas wins the SEC next year?
From your lips to God's ears.
Speak it into existence, right?
No question.
Oh, look at that. I mean, but to not defense of Texas, just, during your years from, let's say, 2000 to 2009, the winner or the loser of that Texas OU game, more often than not, was out of the race.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's just the way it was.
It's just like my senior year. We only lost to OU by 12 points, and that was our only loss, and we were out of the Big 12 championship game.
That's it, because they probably weren't going to lose. But real quick, before we go to break, are you going to miss the Big 12 at all? A quick response. It's bittersweet.
No, it is bittersweet. Big 12 was fun when we were there. I loved playing Colorado and going to Boulder, Colorado to play. That's when Colorado was in it.
Right, and they're coming back.
Then they're coming back. And the commissioner should have worked really hard trying to get Nebraska back. And Nebraska has to work on their program, but that's another story. It was fun playing Nebraska, the black shirts, and going in their stadium. They have the nicest fans there. The Big 12 was a lot of fun. And then I started thinking about other sports. I got a lot of friends in other sports, and a couple of my friends, I got one friend, she holds Big 12 records in swimming. So those things right there it's kind of really cool to have. And now you're leaving the Big 12 and you're starting a whole new conference. Hopefully those records and things like that aren't forgotten, because there's some kids in track and those individual sports that actually have Big 12 records. And that's really cool to have.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Yeah, that's part of it, moving on to a new chapter. Hey, we're going to take a very quick break because we got to give love to our family at Hargrove Roofing. And when we come back, we're going to talk about some bowls that we should probably keep an eye on non-playoff. Texas is not a part of the non-playoff bowls because they're in the playoff.
No question.
Hey, we'll see you on the other side of this break. This episode of Stories Inside the Man Cave podcast is brought to you by our friends at Hargrove Roofing. Give that team a call at 512-645-3202, and you might be able to speak to Mary herself. Hargrove Roofing. Know who's on your roof.
Hey, guys, I got a quick phone call. Connor Stallion's beeping in right here. I'm trying to get a few signals here, so I got to go. But as soon as we get done, look forward to competing against Ryan Day, and we'll go from there.
Maybe you'll get some help in that regard, too. Drake, always a pleasure, man. Thanks a lot for being with us.
How about that, man? The Missouri coach, they're going to the Cotton Bowl to play Ohio State.
That's going to be fun.
And he made a reference to Connor Stalions on the phone. That's got to be a guy that's fun to play against. I mean, to coach play for, so to speak. So go to our Instagram page and our Twitter handle at Stories Man Cave. And then, of course, our Instagram page for all of we have some bowls of interest, including the Cotton Bowl, Missouri and Ohio State, some bowl games of interest. Stevie, I definitely, the TikTok, what I want to show you, just to basically attribute to the day that was Saturday, the Big 12 championship.
Let's go, let's go. Alright, people wanna hate every day, it's okay. I don't wanna wait, so I'll put them in their place. They gon' talk down on me, promise that I'm straight. Give them all the taste every day, I know I'm great. People wanna hate every day, it's okay. I don't wanna wait, so I'll put them in their place. They gon' talk down on me, promise that I'm straight. Give them all the taste every day, I know I'm great. People wanna hate every day, I'm feeling lit. I don't get faced, all I do is get rich. I can hear y'all when you talking that shit. Barking like a dog, you just sounding like a bitch. People talk down on the things that can't be. Looking at yourself and I'd rather be me. I can understand why you're sleeping on your team. Life's so whack, probably better in your dreams, probably better in your fuck around and get this money up. You may know my friends, but promise that you ain't one of us. Spending all these bands, not more than I'll drop $100. Resting in my biz, I'm more.
Hey, and that's probably the longest TikTok in the history of TikToks. But real quick, before we bounce out of here, you know what time it is.
Hey, man, tell me something good.
Stevie Lee, I think it's pretty easy. This is fun. This is a lot of – I know there's a lot bigger things in life than football, but you've got to admit, and I have a feeling you're going to mention something about how everyone is all smiles right now.
Yeah, and that's exactly where I was going, man. Something good this week is we are in the college football playoffs. Congrats to the University of Texas football team, the staff, all the support guys, the equipment staff, the trainers, the doctors, everybody involved in the program, John Bianco, his team, everyone, media team, all those guys, man. Congrats. You're going to have a really, really good time in New Orleans. Take care of business and then go have a really, really good time in Houston, man. And the buzz around the city is just buzzing. People are in love with this. A lot, Austin is a bunch of transplants. It's a transplant city. But when they got here, most of the people here adopted the University of Texas. And the buzz around the city is everyone is happy. Everyone has smiles on their face, and just keep it up. It's going to be a whole month of anticipation, but it's going to be a lot of fun.
It is, and it's great as we transition, obviously, the season of giving, the season of being thankful, the season of all the different holidays, whatever faith you are.
Yeah,
this is all part of it, and it just adds to it. You're one of 4 communities that are experiencing the elite of college football, and it is, first time for Texas. It's hard to understand that, but it is.
Yeah.
And one word of advice: don't do what I did in 2018 and spend an entire week in New Orleans.
Or do it. Just
do whatever you want. I'm just saying, if I could do it over again, I thought that was a little too long.
Yeah, I hear you, man.
Hey, for the Hargrove family, for our family with Hargrove Roofing, you will always know who's on your roof. Just ask Stevie. And for Stevie Lee and his beautiful family, and to the OG Man Cave boys, that being Hardball Harge, Big Mike, and Coach Mo, what do we tell them, Stevie?
We out.
You see the drippy, I'm fitted up. Hop in my car and the giddy up.
Get out.